9:10 a.m. and thank you, councillors, for your assistance, for your attendance, I should say, and I'll just adjourn the meeting, waiting for some more documents to come. Recommence the meeting at 9:37 a.m. Just going back to the item 3.1, request for letter of support, Easter in the country. Do we have a mover? Councillor McMullen.
Mr Mayor, I'll move that Council provide a letter of support to Easter in the Country Committee to support their application to restart investment to sustain and expand RISE fund.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hancock. Is there any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak to it? Well, we're going to go to the vote then. All those in favour? 9-0. Okay, if no further business, does anyone wish to go into closed?
I'll move.
Councillor Edwards.
I'll move in accordance with provisions of Section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012. Local government may resolve to close a meeting to the public to discuss confidential items as councillors or members consider it necessary to close the meeting.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Guthrie, any opposition? Does anyone?
Sorry, Mr Mayor, we just need to add the overview.
Sorry.
For C.1, the overview would be tabling a draft structure based on the Mayor's parameters for further discussion. And C2 would be tabling feedback. Sorry, Cal, those councillors have them. We just need to give them to the other councillors who don't yet.
I think Jordan
Yes,
had one.
It's just Joe, I think.
No, yeah, down here,
George
no,
has
they're the
got
same.
two, I think.
So that, and you've already got one, Councillor
Councillor
McMullen, did
McMullen.
you? Yeah, no, just pass them on, please.
Pass them on. And C2 is tabling feedback and identifying where councillors' input is required to answer questions from employees and their representatives about the Mayor's and councillors' proposed structure for further discussion. If you're happy with that, Councillor
I'll agree with that.
Edward.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a mover. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Guthrie, any opposition? Does anyone wish to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C1, preliminary organisational structure based on Mayor's proposal in preparation for stage 2 and the employee consultation detail stage. I would like to move that.
Mayor, can I just ask on this particular matter, because it's so detailed, can we do them all individually?
Well, I think individually.
We'll vote on them individually as we've done in the past.
Oh, vote on them. Yeah. So one. So what that would have to be then?
So it'll be seven different rather than one.
We'd have to put that to the vote then. Do you want to move that we do it individually?
Well, there's two ways. You as the chair can accept to do it in seriatim, which is to do them individually. And if you don't accept that, then I'm happy to move a procedural motion that we do that.
Yeah, I don't accept that. So did you want to move?
Well, I'll move a procedural motion that we deal with all of these individually for the reasons that I've just highlighted, that it's such a complex resolution that there's an opportunity for councillors to express their individual views on the different elements of the draft resolution.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Hancock, do you wish to speak to it? Okay, so we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? Lost 3-6 if uncalled for division. Okay, so I would like to move that, would you mind scrolling that up when you're ready, Kel? That, number 1, council formally received the confidential update draft detailed organisational structure document date 21st of the 12th 20, based on the Mayor's parameters and incorporating outcomes from the preliminary discussions undertaken to date with the relevant employees and incorporating updates discussed at the meeting. 2, council approved for release in confidence to employees and their representatives a copy of the draft detailed organisational structure document as at the 21st of December 2020, and that this formed the basis of communication with employees and their representatives. 3, councillors informally receive a copy of the draft templates prior to formal release. 4, communication include that employees' employment is secure and their pay is secure on the conditions and for the term outlined in the certified agreement, or at a minimum for the remainder of the employee's contract in the case of contracts of employment. 5, discussions continue with employees whose role may change as part of the proposed restructure and their representatives. 6, an invitation to be extended to the union representatives to meet with council at a briefing on the 25th of January 2021. 7, council released via its communication media a copy of the draft high-level overview of the proposed structure for viewing by the community, including any minor amendments. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Edwards. Any opposition? And I'll speak to the motion. I think an extremely exciting time, this proposed org structure change. It's very exciting, I believe, for how council can deliver for the people of the Maranoa and the staff that work in Maranoa Regional Council. From all the stories and the anecdotes that I've heard from staff in the community, I think this is an exciting 2021 if this is adopted. So I certainly will be supporting these common sense changes to the organisational structure. Does someone want to speak against the motion? Councillor Hancock.
Once again, Mr Mayor, I won't be supporting the motion because I actually think we are rushing it through. Now we're rushing it through 4 days out from Christmas. I actually don't think it's good governance to be doing this over this Christmas break, and I actually believe that council should be extending their finalisation deadline from the 27th to 28th of January so that this decision could be pushed back and moved back. I understand there's a motion on the table that can be rescinded, it can be changed, but I think it should be pushed back so that we can be fully informed, to fully take on our staff feedback, to fully take on community feedback, to be able to make this decision and a responsible decision and a fully informed decision, and to give time to do due process. At the moment, I think we are just rushing it through this decision, and I don't think due process will be taken along the way. I do once again acknowledge the staff. They're trying their best to do due process in the time frame that we as a council have put forward for them to work in. So on this basis, I don't think it's good governance, don't think there's due process, and so I will not be supporting the motion.
Okay, does anyone want to speak for the motion? Does anyone want to speak against the motion? Councillor O'Neill.
I'm not supporting this motion as it stands today. I would have supported elements if was given the opportunity as I move the procedural motion to allow councillors to express their individual views on what is an incredibly complex resolution. I'll share with councillors that is the first time in my memory of Maranoa Regional Council where a request to do something in stages was not supported by council, and I think that's a sad indictment of this particular chamber at this particular time. I'm not supporting this resolution for much of the same reasons that Councillor Hancock has already articulated. I think ramming this through before Christmas is a disrespectful illustration of the support or lack of support that we have for the staff and workforce of the Maranoa Regional Council. We had a resolution before this chamber on the 9th. No, before that, in our second last meeting of this year, to ram through a decision on the 16th of December. That was overturned by this chamber to give more breathing space for consultation, but most importantly to allow our staff to go away and have a much needed rest over Christmas. There are staff that are away on Christmas leave right now that will be getting phone calls that will see potentially a universal change to their roles in Maranoa Regional Council. I don't think that's good practice. I don't think it's good governance, and I don't think it illustrates, again, the support that we should have for the workforce. I accept that there is a clear majority of people that want to see a universal change, what would be the most significant change to this council since 2008. I accept that. But I don't accept that it's good practice to be ramming this through on our staff while they're away on leave, let alone the staff that were planning to go away on leave that now have a bucket load of work to do over the Christmas season. So I don't support this resolution in its entirety. I do support, however, that the draft organisational structure is going out for public consultation, because whilst I accept there will be people in our community that like what's being proposed, equally there are people that do not. And they need to have the opportunity through the same platform that we're using to engage on whether we should have free access to the pool, where we should putting red benches across the region for the domestic violence initiative, which I strongly support. If we're willing to go out to the community and ask their views on those projects in council, we can have the decency, which if this the resolution gets up, and this is the part of the resolution I would have supported, having this go out to public consultation so the community who put us here can have their say on what council is intending to do in 2021. But on the substantive resolution and the other elements of this, I just do not support it, and I'll be voting against it.
Okay, would anyone like to speak for the motion?
So now I'd just like to add, I believe the majority of staff that may or will be affected by this would like to have their position clarified before Christmas, because I believe some of them will be worrying all over the next few weeks as to what their position will be, or if they have a position at all.
Okay, would anyone like to speak against the motion? No, I don't know. Does anyone else wish to speak? Okay, I'll sum up. Certainly understand the opposition that has been put forward today about this. One of the things I'd like to put forward is that this has been, or will have been, till the motion that we have to work under, which is a motion of council, will approximately be 4 months of consultation since the start of this process. So I do not believe it's been rushed in any form. I believe letting people know now will give certainty, and certainty is very important for everyone. And I think what was missing in the comments, and is disappointing to be missed, is that in a COVID year where everything in the world is upside down, and we've taken note of setbacks that have happened in Australia in the last week, that no one is talking about that every job at Maranoa Regional Council is secure. Every employment is secure. So no one is going to lose their job at Maranoa Regional Council. So if every employee in Australia had that assurity, I believe they'd be feeling much, much better for their well-being in Australia. So No one will lose employment at Maranoa Regional Council. I believe this council is a caring council that will and do care about people's future, but as well has to make changes that make it more efficient to operate the local government. And one of the things is that with so many people on JobKeeper and so forth in Australia, that this is a good news story that's coming from Maranoa Regional Council. Okay, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? 6-3 if I can call for a division. Okay, item C2, tabling feedback received for Council's consideration of answers and queries. I'd like to move that Council note the reviewed letter from the TSU incorporating questions and feedback as forwarded to Council on 3rd of December 2020, and 2, the questions and answers document be updated with the information from councillors at today's meeting, with any minor amendments approved by the Mayor and cross-checking of feedback from the TSU to ensure all key points are included.
Sorry, just a question, Mr Mayor, and something. For consistency, do we want to have that signed, signed by yourself? Further, that the document be approved and signed by the Mayor prior to release. No, sorry, Kel, just as a
I'll get rid of
point
this
2.
number. Yeah. And I'll put that.
Further, that the document be approved and signed by the Mayor prior to release.
So do you think that's beneficial?
Prior to release. Because then that way we can be assured that their councillors' comments and not officers.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Okay, well, I'm happy with that. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Ladbrook. Any opposition? Well, yeah, I'll speak first then. Yeah, certainly part of the process of a fairly detailed consultation process, and I think that information is key and answering questions is key, so I certainly support this one small part in the process of consulting with the stakeholders. Okay, would someone like to speak against the motion? Does anyone else wish to speak? Well, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? 7-2 if I can call for a division. Okay, any further business, councillors? Okay, well, I'll close the meeting at 2:01 p.m. Thank you for your attendance, and may you have a Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to all the staff as well. So have a good break when it comes.